So Yangyang has definitely been on my radar recently, and I wanted to take a look at what she can do and provide for the team. Honestly, I have looked at her kit before and I feel like she's very underrated on what she can provide for the team. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely way better options than Yangyang, but I think for FTP players that don't really want to spend money on the game, she can definitely be the best fit for you. So why is Yangyang so good? Let's talk about it. Before I start the video, I'm gonna be asking for subs again, so if you enjoy these types of content and want to see me grow in the gacha community, make sure to like and subscribe so I can make this my everyday job one day. I work really hard on this channel and the support would be absolutely amazing. So anyways, let's get right into it. So Yangyang definitely has her benefits when it comes to what she can do for the team with her kit, and I'll be there basically to break this down for you. So we'll be taking a look at her kit, mainly at what she does as a support slash hybrid, and then take a look at her echoes and teams, and finally talk about my overall thoughts on the character. So let's get into it. Yangyang is a free 4-star arrow sword type character that specializes in supporting the team or playing as a hybrid, meaning a sub DPS. Her primary goal is to be used as a crowd control unit by gathering enemies into a single spot and using your main DPS to do all the damage. In endgame, she is usually used as a support where her weapons and echoes shine to help buff the entire team. Her resonance skill and liberation, Zephyr Domain and Wind Spiral are abilities that allows Yangyang to gather enemies around in a single area, dealing arrow damage. Obviously, the only difference is that the ultimate deals more damage and has a higher pulling radius. This does sound pretty simple honestly, but her simplicity makes her super easy to pick up and master. Her forte is also very straightforward. Yangyang basically gathers 3 melodies, which is her bar, either by using her 4th basic attack, her resonance skill, or her intro skill, all of them on hit. This makes it really easy for her to just get her bar up, making her great at what she usually does or meant to do. When Yangyang has 3 of her melodies up, she will use a heavy attack called the Stormy Strike, where she goes up in the air dealing arrow damage, and then when she's in mid-air, she will cast a basic attack called Feather Release, consuming all melodies, dealing arrow damage and plunging onto the enemy. Her passives are also very straightforward, where they basically give her extra stamina when she uses her forte and extra arrow damage when she uses her intro skill. Her intro skill and outro skill are also very straightforward, dealing arrow damage when she enters the field and giving resonance energy to incoming resonators when she's off the field. Yangyang primarily shines at her ability to not stay on the field for too long and giving opportunities for other characters to shine. You would basically want to gather enemies with her combo and switch off with her as soon as possible to give your DPS a chance to deal a lot of damage. Her Consorto regen is also very decent, where she can basically perform outro skill pretty fast, making her very strong in quick swap teams and giving other characters energy regen to deal their ultimates. What's also important to take note when it comes to her combo is that you need to be able to swap cancel her plunging attack in order to maximize her utility as much as possible. So swap canceling is basically when you switch between a resonator while performing an attack, making the attack hit but also making sure that the resonator enters the field. So having that in mind, not only will you be able to increase your depth with this character, but also make sure she does what she does as much as possible. Her playstyle is extremely simple and easy to play, but as I mentioned before, the swap cancelling could be seen as something of a downside for newer players, but once you get the hang of it, you should be fine. Her dupes are like honestly one of the strongest I've read like in a while, and if you manage to get them, she's going to be very strong. S1 gives her an intro skill arrow damage increase, S2 giving her energy regen or resonance energy regen, S3 giving her a massive resonance skill damage and pulling efficiency, S4 gives her a huge forward circuit damage increase, S5 gives her an alt increase, and S6 makes her a buffer. So all of these dupes give her great boosts, which makes her even more worth it to get if you're pulling for a 5-star and she's in the featured banner. Obviously, Yangyang does have some weaknesses that needs to be kept in mind. First off, her damage isn't really that high if she has no dupes. So if you want to build her as a DPS, I feel like there would be far better options like Jinshi or Jian or maybe Kalcharo. Her forte gauge is also a bit weird, where getting the 3rd gauge on her meter feels a bit awkward if you're starting with her. So what I'd recommend is starting with another character so you can use her intro skill, then you can get the 1st bar and then the The second bar is using her 4th basic attack, and then the final bar is with her resonance skill. And finally, her outro skill doesn't give amplification buff, which makes her kind of fall down in comparison with other supports like Verena. She also sucks into bosses, which puts her a couple tiers down. Honestly, I feel like Yangyang is really good into tower adversity when it comes to small fries, where she can basically pull the enemies together, and then you can use the DPS to deal a bunch of damage and clear the wave or the domain really fast. So let's start off with her teams. So Yangyang is actually like very flexible. She's a very flexible unit, especially when you play her as a support. You can pair her off with any 2 characters and she will basically do just fine. I feel like she can be very strong when it comes to Kalcharo, because I think Kalcharo has a problem regarding his energy regen, and Yangyang can basically help deal with that really well, so you can spam his ultimate in a consistent way. You can obviously pair her up with other good characters, but I think Kalcharo is a really good pick as well. For her echoes, Yangyang could play the Rejuvenating Glow set, or as her main set if you want to play her as a support, since she can buff the whole team, and Bellaborn being the primary echo, or if you want to play Moonlight Clouds for energy regen, if you want to play her as a hybrid with Impermanence Saron being the main primary echo. You would want to go for a 4-3-3-1-1 skill set, focusing mainly on crit damage or crit rate for the 4 costs, aero damage for the 3 costs, and attack percentage for the 1 costs. So for the weapon, Originite type 2 is great for her if you're using Rejuvenating Glow, because it'll help heal her HP, which will trigger the effect of the echo. This makes her even more free to play friendly, because getting this weapon is actually relatively easy since it's a 3-star weapon. But if you want to go for more of a hybrid character for Yangyang, Emerald Genesis or Lunar Cutter work just fine. Or honestly, anything that can grant her any sort of damage, so stuff like crit rate, crit damage, or attack percentage should be fine. All in all, I feel like Yangyang is definitely an underrated character, since she can do a lot for the team with little to no investment made. You can get her for free for no reason. She's also very flexible in endgame, providing buffs for the team while also giving them gather potential to small enemies and towers of adversity. She's also very easy to pick up and master, which makes her super reliable for newer players who have a harder time understanding the combat system in the game. Even with her weaknesses, I think she can be a great character to your team. So that was pretty much it for the video. If you guys enjoyed the video and learned a bit about Yangyang, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Wuthering Waves content. I feel like Yangyang is very strong in terms of what she does, especially since she's a 4-star free characters that you get at the start of the game. I think her dupes are so strong and very underrated, and if you manage to get her dupes in a standard banner, she can become one of your main users or main units in your team, and she can definitely do well in towers of adversity. So yeah, that's basically it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.